Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tshepang Langa. If you're an OG, thank you so much for joining me once again. As you guys can see by the title of the video, I'll be sharing with you 5 self-love habits that have changed my life and continue to change my life and help me become the woman of my dreams, help me become the best version of myself. If you're interested to find out what these 5 habits are, please be sure to tune until the end of the video. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment down below, and consider subscribing, ring the notification bell so you can be a part of my family. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first self-love habits, you guys probably guessed it, that is building a relationship with God and being intentional about building that relationship. In one of my previous videos, I think it was the video on escaping Egypt and trusting God, I mentioned that every time I remove my eyes from God, I'm always sinking. And guys, that is not a lie. Like literally every time I move away from God, every time I stop praying, every time I stop reading the Bible, I'm literally a mess of a human being. Like nothing in my life goes grand. Like I fight with the people in my life. School isn't going, like I'm literally a mess of a human being. But the minute I focus my eyes on God and kind of listen to what he has to say, my life starts coming together, and my goal in life is honestly to be a virtuous woman. I want to be a woman who pleases God and who does everything in her life for the pleasure of God. And so that's why it's so important for me to build a relationship with God, which is why I read my Bible every morning. I make sure that I pray every morning, and I do it in the morning because life gets pretty hectic and sometimes it requires me to wake up early in the morning to do this. If you guys watched my vlog on during my test week, you guys will know that I would wake up like very early just to do my devotions, and sometimes they're short, sometimes they're long. Literally spirit will guide me and it will lead me to actually do what I need to do to build this relationship with God. So building a relationship with God is one habit that I want to turn into a lifestyle, and I literally put it at number 1 because it's one of the most important habits. So I think it's also very important to kind of, as a person, believe in something, be anchored in something, value something as well. Like my religion and my spirituality kind of gives me a moral compass of sorts. Like I believe in certain things, I'm anchored in certain things simply because of that, and because of that also I'm unshaken. Like I have a backbone, if that makes sense, because of that. So I really think it's important for you to believe in something. Like it does not necessarily have to be God, but I will say believing in God is the way to go because I'm a Christian girl and that's the content that we share on this channel. But honestly guys, if burning candles and working with crystals, speaking to your ancestors and appeasing them, if that is what works for you, if that is what anchors you, if that is what keeps you centered, then I would highly recommend that you go on and do that, because that is like you kind of like coming back to your creator, the person who created you, the person who has the answers to how your life should be. And I think losing sight of them is not an act of self-love, but focusing on them and listening to the voice of your creator is the ultimate act of self-love that you can ever give yourself. So cultivate a relationship with your creator, have some sort of spirituality, have something that anchors you as an individual, and I promise you everything is gonna work out perfectly fine. The second habit that I have is that I journal every single morning. And just like not having a relationship with God, and not journaling literally leaves me in a very difficult place, and here's why. So I spend a lot of time alone. Like I'm such a homebody, I'm such a loner, and as a result I'm always in my head, and which really doesn't make sense because I'm such an external and such a verbal processor. So what journaling helps me do is track some of my most frequent thought, some of my most dominant thoughts, to kind of also check my internal story. So some of your thoughts usually are thoughts that you tell yourself about yourself and you end up believing because of how frequent and how dominant they are. And so when I journal, I get to realize what it is that's stressing me. I get to see what it is that I'm thinking about that situation that stresses me, what I think of myself in that situation. And then I get to literally see it in 3D, if you will, because if it's in my thoughts, it's literally one dimensional. It's literally just that it's in my head. But the minute I put it, to paper, I get to see how rational it is or how irrational it is. And I know how to go about it and I know how to fix it as well. So, if I haven't been feeling very beautiful, I'll question where those thoughts come from and I'll get to answer myself, because also in my journal, it's a safe space. There's literally no judgment. I get to be myself and I get to be vulnerable with myself and I get to literally bare my entire soul on that page, because no one's going to read it, hopefully. But even then, honestly, in that moment, that is what I needed to say. That is what I needed to let out for me to kind of think straight and to know what I need to do with my life. But another thing that I really enjoy and appreciate about journaling is that I literally do this. Like at the end of the month, I'll look at that month's journal entries just so I can see how far I've come or how far I still have to go in whatever journey I'm on. And I think as people, we struggle to kind of stop and pat ourselves on the back or like recognize our progress and give it the credit that it deserves. And so going through my journals helps me realize that sometimes I'll be like, oh my gosh, I've been sad for an entire month, my life isn't getting better. And then I'll go through my journals and be like, girl, please, you're actually doing better than you think you are. And that helps me not be hard on myself. It helps me be kinder to myself. It helps me, give myself the applause that I need sometimes. But more importantly, it helps me remain grateful, because I feel like when you operate from a position of gratitude, it's very difficult for you to feel like you are lacking in something. Like you always have an abundance mindset. You are literally always content with your life. It's like, yes, there are certain things that I would like to have in my life, or there's certain place that I'd like to be, but in this moment, this is where I need to be right now. And for that, I am truly, truly thankful. And that takes me back to the third habit that I have, which is practicing mindfulness. I literally diarize that, and this was something a friend of mine suggested that I do, is like while I write down certain things about what I have to do about my day, I literally write down the fact that I need to practice mindfulness. And what I would do in that moment is either meditate or literally just sit still. And I would meditate. Yes, I would meditate and pay attention to the moment. I will listen to everything. I will listen, I will see, I will feel. If there's a pain in my back, I would recognize that this is a pain that I have and pay attention to that pain. If there's certain things that I need to hear, I will hear. I would sit in silence and be in the present moment, and also in that moment say thank you. So in a way, I'll pray, but also kind of just recognize my surroundings. That also helps with my anxiety, because I know one tactic that people who struggle with anxiety have is that when they feel like they're about to have a panic attack or an anxiety attack, is that they recognize their surroundings. Name 3 objects that you can touch, 3 objects that you can see, 3 objects you can smell, you can hear. You kind of involve your 5 senses to keep you grounded. So practicing mindfulness has also kind of helped me remain in the moment, because sometimes we get so lost in the future or so lost in our past, and we're forgetting that while we're doing that, going back and forth in our future and in our past, this present moment is getting lost. It's literally becoming a past. There's a tweet that had been going around that sometimes we forget that in this very moment you are living one of your answered prayers. And I was like, whoa, actually, we don't recognize, because we always want things, or we're always obsessing about things that didn't happen. This should have gone that way. But honey, really, that doesn't, in the grander scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. What matters is what you're doing right now. Enjoy this moment. And that has helped me be in touch with myself, with my surroundings as well. And it kind of helps me grow my relationships as well with like my friends and with my family. Like I really try to be in the moment. Like when you speak, I listen, not listen to respond, but listen to really understand what you're trying to say. And that has honestly changed my life. Like I feel like it's an act of self-love, and that's why I included this in the list. The fourth thing that I do, child, is practice my love languages on myself. So this is something that I've started doing, I think 2 or 3 months ago. So I have 2 love languages. This is acts of service and gift giving. So for those of you who don't know what acts of service is when the person, like, you show someone, or you want to be shown love when someone, or you feel the most loved rather when someone makes your life easy. So let's say I live together with someone, like either a friend or a partner, and I literally have a lot of work to do, and they would offer to cook. It's like, okay, I'll cook because you have that to do, or I'll do this because you have that. Just kind of like helping me tick off stuff on my to-do list. Like if you're able to help me do that, then please do it, and that really makes me feel loved. But that's also how I show love. Like people who know me, like when you're stressed, I always say, okay, can I help you with something? Are you sure? Can I do that for you? If you need help with anything, please shout. And I really mean that, because that's also how I love to express my love to people. So how I, perform acts of service on myself is I try hardest not to procrastinate. And so I do everything that I need to do in that moment. For example, when I have breakfast, I make sure to wash my dishes as soon as I'm done, because also when you live alone, the dishes will pile up, and then at night you're washing a whole lot of dishes, or in the morning, literally the first thing that you have to do is wash dishes from last night, and that's really not a good way to start your morning. So it's like small things like that, like making your own life easy. Like if you said you're going to do something and you can literally do it now, and it's probably not going to take you 5 minutes to do it, then just do it. But also that's also not easy as I'm saying it, and I really understand. Sometimes we put off tasks, especially the bigger ones, the more challenging ones, simply because of how we feel about those tasks. Like maybe there's some sort of anxiety that you feel towards doing that task. I know with me, when it comes to schoolwork, child, it's a struggle. So you kind of have to deal with those emotions, and like I make sure that I interrogate, like, why are you not studying? Because you're meant to be studying. Why are you not doing that tutorial? And then I'm like, I'm tired. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay, cool. If you're tired, then go sleep. Make sure you get enough rest so that tomorrow morning you wake up and you're ready to do it. And you will do it. You know what I mean? Because also it's like, why are you not doing it? Because the work is going to pile up. It's going to be a lot. I'm going to be stressed. It's self-sabotage, and it's really not an act of self-love. So I literally try not to procrastinate as a way of practicing my love language of acts of service. And to practice my love language of gift giving, I literally buy myself flowers every month. Guys, I love flowers. Guys, I love flowers so much. Like flowers brighten up my day. They literally just make me so happy, And so I buy them myself. Like if there's no one who's gonna buy me flowers, I'm gonna buy them myself. I absolutely love flowers. Like if there's anything you want to buy me flowers. That you'll have my heart. Like I really love buying flowers, and like I absolutely love flowers. But I also gift myself a book every single month. So I'll buy a book every single month simply because I love reading. So that's a gift. It's a meaningful, it's a thoughtful gift. And that is how I practice my love languages on myself. But that also brings me to my fifth point, which my fifth self-love habit, and that is educating myself. I am a learner. I don't even know how to, like, I am such a learner. Like if there's a topic that I'm interested in, I will literally go in hard, full throttle. Like I will learn. I want to be an expert about it. Like anybody who knows me will tell you that if there's something I'm interested about, I'm gonna go hard on it. Like at some point I was like interested in natural hair, and I learned everything. I did courses, I went to master classes. Like it's because I'm so passionate about it. It's like I want to learn more about it. But more than that, I also want to teach other people as well, you know, make it easy for other people to access that information. People who are like me, who are interested in that topic, like digital marketing. I went for it, I learned about it, I knew everything about it that there was for me to know about it. I taught about it, I did the most because that was what I was interested in at the time. And currently, I'm interested in personal development. You know, I am so obsessed with personal development. But I think one of the reasons why I'm so obsessed with it is because of the career that I want to get into. I want to get into psychology, like, so, you know, every time, like in my psychology lectures, like I learn about something about myself or like other people. So I'll go and like research about it and just like learn more about myself, learn how to be the highest and the best version of myself. And like I said, I buy books every day. So currently I'm buying self-help books on personal development. I'm currently reading this book called Grit. It's by Angela Duckworth, and it talks about why passion and resilience are the secret to success. So I really need passion. I really need resilience in this career that I'm really trying to get into. And like I said, passion literally drives me. So sometimes you never know why it is that you do certain things. So I feel like this book is explaining exactly why, when you're passionate, when you're resilient and you're tenacious about whatever it is that you're passionate about, why it is that you're going to thrive in that. It's like sometimes it's not even the most talented people who succeed. It's always the people who work the hardest, people who are more passionate, people who are learners, people who are not afraid to make mistakes, people who are not afraid to go the extra mile and stay the extra hour. And so this book kind of like confirms all of that, and I really like to see it because it also shares like case studies of certain people who have succeeded in their careers by simply being passionate, by having grit and being resilient. And I think it's a really good read, and that's something that I'm learning about. And maybe I'll make a video about what I learned in the book. I'll share it with you, and yeah. So those are my 5 habits. If you and I share the same self-love habits, please let me know in the comments down below. If you have a different list of self-love habits, please share with me. I'm interested to find out what you guys do. But these are my 5 habits, but I obviously have other self-love habits, you know, like self-care. Like I'll put on a mask, I'll turn on candles, I will listen to music, I'll dance, I'll take walks. I'm also taking walks. I take walks with my friends, you know, like it's an opportunity for me to catch up with them and just be in nature and just, you know, breathe the good air. And it's like so much fun. And that's what I do. If you guys do other things, I would honestly love to know. Let me know in the comments. And just like that, we have come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments as well. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.